he's not just Peyton Manning's little brother or Archie Manning's son. Nope, Eli Manning was a beast in his own right. He is one of the most overlooked NFL greats, and for all types of strange reasons. When you dive into Eli's career, you're going to be surprised with what you find, including one of the most important aspects of the game where Eli surpasses everybody. Big brother Peyton, Mahomes, Brady, doesn't matter. Is it time to stop the hate on Eli Manning? This is The Gridiron. Eli Manning's origins were fairly unique. His father, Archie Manning, played in the NFL for 13 seasons. Eli was born January 3, 1981, while his dad was a quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. And though Archie was near the end of his career and moved around to a couple other teams after, New Orleans was where Eli grew up. His brother Peyton was 5 years older, so he got to college first. He went to Tennessee in 1994 when Eli was only 13 years old. While Eli was playing high school ball, Peyton was already making a name for himself in college. In 1998, Peyton was drafted first overall by the Colts.
Quarterback, University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning.
And Eli still had yet to graduate high school. Eli was getting noticed, but there was a lot of speculation as to whether it was because of who his father and brother were. And this is something that would follow Eli throughout his career. Eli went to Ole Miss in 2000, and it was time to put his own stamp on the game. But it didn't start off that great. His freshman year, he only played in 6 games. He had 33 pass attempts, 16 completions for just 170 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. But Ole Miss would give him a better chance the following year. Speculation, again, was this because of his last name? But his sophomore year, Eli showed the world what he could do. Playing in 11 games, he threw for 2,948 yards, 31 touchdowns, and just 9 interceptions. His next 2 years followed the same trend. His junior and senior year, he combined for 7,000 passing yards, 50 touchdowns, and only 25 interceptions. In 2003, his senior year, he was 3rd in Heisman voting. Eli hadn't exactly set the world on fire, but his stock was rising. And soon enough, he'd surpass everyone. But how bad did his career begin in the NFL? Eli was so highly touted coming out of college that in the 2004 draft, he was selected 1st overall. Welcome to the San Diego Chargers, Eli Manning.
First choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Eli Manning.
Only, Eli did not want to play for the Chargers at all. It wasn't long after he was drafted that it was being reported that Eli would refuse to play for the Chargers and wished to be traded. It was a confusing situation to many, but Eli had some pull. He was an amazing prospect, and there was that bit of nepotism, wasn't there? Older brother Peyton, father Archie, Eli was royalty in the NFL before playing a single down. This rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But Eli got his demands. The Chargers traded him to the Giants for Phillip Rivers and 3 picks. This was a fairly big haul. Eli now not only had to live up to being a number 1 pick, but he had to live up to what New York traded away to get him. The pressure was on. But pressure makes diamonds, right? And not that fast. He sat behind Kurt Warner, who led the team to a fairly respectable 5-4 record. But the Giants wanted to see what they had in Eli, so they started him to finish the season. And they went 1-6. In those 7 games, he completed only 95 out of 197 passes, below a 50% completion rate. He threw for just over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Eli looked pretty bad. The Giants' front office looked even worse, trading away so much to get this level of mediocre play. So what would they do after a garbage rookie campaign? Cut their losses? The following season, Eli got another chance, which many Giants fans thought was only because of his last name. But just like in college, Eli bounced back big his second year. Eli played all 16 games and threw for over 3,700 yards and 24 touchdowns. Though he did still throw 17 interceptions, he led his team to an 11-5 record. Once again, Eli proved he belonged. Though his completion percentage was only 52.8%, he had improved. And in 2006, he improved it again, 57.7%. with another 24 touchdown season, paired with 18 interceptions. Eli was looking better, but he was starting to get the reputation of being a turnover machine. He threw a lot of interceptions, and in the 2006 season, the Giants were just 8-8. But just when it seemed Eli was about to have an average NFL career, everything changed. In 2007, Eli kept par for the course. It was his third season throwing for over 3,000 yards. His completion percentage was almost the same at 56.1%. In his last 2 seasons, he threw for 24 touchdowns. This year, it was 23. And this time, he led the league with 20 interceptions. Eli had now been in the league for 4 years, but he was not improving as much as the Giants would hope. He was the number 1 overall pick. New York was hoping for more than this by now. Eli had all the pressure riding on his back as his 10-6 squad snuck into the playoffs, where everyone expected a quick exit. But that's where Eli found his greatness. He made the right plays when his team needed them the most. That year especially, his team was not expected to do much, but they beat the Buccaneers in the wildcard round 24-14. Eli threw 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, and had a 74% completion percentage. Next, they played their division rival Cowboys and beat them 21-17. 2 more touchdowns from Eli, 0 interceptions, a 67% completion percentage. In the NFC Championship game against the Packers, Eli didn't throw any touchdowns, but he didn't throw any picks. Again. He had over a 50% completion percentage with 251 passing yards, and the Giants won 23-20. And then came the Super Bowl against the undefeated juggernaut, the New England Patriots. They hadn't lost all season. The Giants weren't even supposed to get this far, let alone have any chance to beat possibly the best team in NFL history.
He ain't supposed to be here, right? This O-line we're facing today is the greatest O-line of all time. Their quarterback cannot be sacked, can't even be hit. We don't stand a chance.
But Eli seems to have some gene where he doesn't get fazed, no matter the pressure. Eli threw for 255 yards on a 55% completion percentage, 2 more touchdowns, and only 1 interception. His first and only in the postseason. Again, he led the league in interceptions that same regular season, and he engineered the game-winning drive, which included that helmet catch, to eventually score and beat one of the best teams ever, all to win the Super Bowl 17-14. Clutch. That's what people don't know about Eli Manning. He is one of the most clutch quarterbacks ever. He kept doing this throughout his career. He had great seasons in the NFL. He's made the Pro Bowl 4 times. He's put up good numbers. He's also led the league in interceptions occasionally. But when the postseason came around, there was no one like Eli Manning. You might think you'd want Brady or some other quarterback, but the stats tell us otherwise. He didn't just lead an underdog team to win a Super Bowl twice, and win Super Bowl MVP twice. He did what was seemingly impossible in every postseason game. 538, a polling and data website, concluded that Eli Manning is the most clutch postseason quarterback of all time using 25,000 simulations. Repeat that. Most clutch postseason quarterback of all time. When the lights shine the brightest, Eli isn't blinded. 2015, when 538 conducted this research, in Eli's 11 postseason games, his team was often the underdog and overall were projected to have gone 4-7 in those games. Instead, Eli and the Giants went 8-3 in real life. He's won 73% of his postseason games, while being expected to lose most of them. On top of Eli's playoff greatness, he has amazing regular season numbers. He holds the Giants' franchise records for passing yards, passing touchdowns, and completions. He is 10th all-time in passing touchdowns in the NFL, and also 10th all-time in passing yards. Eli Manning is an Iron Man. He never missed a game due to injury. He started 210 consecutive games from 2004 to 2017. That's the 3rd longest consecutive start streak in the NFL by a quarterback. Many criticize Eli Manning and say he isn't a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He is not a Hall of Famer. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, but he is not a Hall of Famer.
People point to the interceptions, to the inconsistency, to the great teams he had around him. Those who know that Eli is a Hall of Famer point to the fact that all Hall of Fame quarterbacks had great teams around them, to the 2 Super Bowl wins and Super Bowl MVPs, all against the undisputed GOAT Tom Brady, by the way. But if being clutch is an important part of being a Hall of Famer, Eli Manning might just sit at the top of that list.